right, last round we kind of got the truck running. Off the key, it's by far not done, but we're close. Like, well, the overall project, we're on the home stretch, that's for sure. Now it's all the small things that usually will drive a feller batty. Although I have a big project left, which is this bed. I want to build a tonneau cover that opens similar to the way my my hood opens. So my thought is for here, I'm going to do, like it's going to basically boom, slide in, lock, and then it'll be like a trunk. You can pop it open to get into the back. So from here, I'll have some kind of a switch or something that I can flick. This thing will pop up. I can, hopefully with a strut, it'll hold up. I can kind of dump some stuff in here if I need be. But from there, I can actually pull it, and then it'll come back, stand up-ish, that I can reach over here and we can kind of pull the top out. It sounds a little ambitious, but I think it's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to try to do this one more similar to like a traditional Carson top. So what that means is I'm going to use a conduit, and once we get our basic frame done, we'll chicken wire and then foam, and then we wrap it in vinyl. That's the hope. Super simple, nice and light. I don't know that it needs to be light, but hey, we have the option to make it light. Why wouldn't we? Anyways, we're going to do, the goal is everything is going to be done with 1/2 inch, or most of it's going to be done with 1/2 inch conduit. That is my thought. All right. So first step I think I'm going to do is I want these tubes to, or one, I guess they'll all be the same, but we need to make a perimeter frame. I'm not sure how this thing's going to drop down. I kind of feeling like I want it to do similar to what my hood is. It's going to come back. We're going to have some kind of a track. Let's see if I can draw this out. I'm imagining when the top comes down here, are we in the same zone here? I imagine when the top comes down, I'm going to need to have some kind of a rail here that the top can rest on, like it'll have a wheel. And from there, it's going to roll along here till I get close to where it's closed. We'll just have a loop. So now when the wheel rolls down, kind of does its thing. When it comes back in here, it'll be in a locked position. So, and that'll just go so far that when I lift the top, I can open the back. This is going to stay closed. But when I want to flip the top, it'll go out and then get out of this area, and then we can kind of just flip and tilt. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know. It sort of does for me loosely, but we'll figure it out. First steps first, we're going to build a frame, like a perimeter frame. We're going to have to just bend it up. I don't know, it can probably be pretty square. I'm not too worried about it being like a really roundy contour. I mean, that'd be ideal, but I think first things first, we're just going to follow this shape, this. We're going to build a square that just sits where I want it. And then we'll kind of start building blocks to go across, and then we'll think about, we might just do the frame first and then figure how the mechanics of it's going to work, and then we'll go from there. Well, now, first things first, I guess we will kind of see what our options are to make this thing follow the bed side without wrecking all of our primer. Well, I guess in the end, that is why we did not paint this thing. I'm thinking I gotta go here, but it's kind of gonna go down and follow that other contour. Being conduit, you can kind of just bend. I think I'll try to follow my bed rail and we'll see what happens. So far, not so good. All right, more up here. Well, that's kind of getting in the zone. We are going to have to cut this. And at the end, I don't think this is like going to be a watertight thing. It's just a cover to cover this junk that we're going for. How do we do this? I mean, this thing's nice and round, so we kind of just keep going with it. It just needs more roundness. We just got to lift the truck up here a bit. That way I don't have to cut the rail before I have to. All right, that should make it good and nice and inconvenient to work on. So we're up here. We need a little more bend up here. Now we just need a lot of bend down here. I don't know a good way to do this. I have benders, but we've seen how that worked for me before. It just didn't work well. That one needs to be up. Just a lot more in here. Oh, golly. Hey, we're getting there. I feel like we're getting there. I feel like this is close. We can do a really loose cut and get rid of some excess. So we're here, down to there. I'm gonna go right here. It'll probably make a piece that we can't use for diddly squat. Yep. No, that'll just kink that there. Okay, Dinah, eh? The knees are definitely gonna get the workout today. I like this, but it's right here, we need more. Alrighty, so what you're seeing, I got this thing jammed up to the front of the bed, and this one is actually looking good, other than I don't want this to overlap. I want it to sit into here. The rest of this looks like it's going in a straight line down, so I'm cool with that. That looks like just super good. I'm just gonna cut that so this kind of sits into that little world down there. This little something. We might have to do some fanciness, I don't know. All right. Let me try to trim this. Right. Ish. It's pretty close. So I like. I just want, I don't even know how to do this one. My knee's not gonna happen. Not gonna be happy with that. Have to get creative. All right, this might work. I just don't want to kink it. It's gonna kink. For sure it's gonna kink. All right, I'll be right back. You know what? It's conduit. I have the technology for this. I don't know why I just don't use it. I think. Oh, close. A little more. I kind of feel I'm doing it wrong, but it's working. So how wrong can it be? It is doing a slight kink, but as long as this thing ends up where I want, I don't care. This one's pretty good. I'd like to get this shape to fit better. And I guess I can't have it too tight. It should actually be more gap now that I think about it. Otherwise the vinyl's not gonna wanna cooperate. Like it's gonna need to have some room. So I'll try the different grinder. We'll work the front part after. Once I get the initial shape in there, we'll be good. Survey says 1 down. Cool. What are the chances this is exactly the same side to side? I mean, in a perfect world, it's supposed to be. Yeah, I feel it's actually pretty good. Okay. Well, you know what? Never mind. We're just gonna freehand it like I did. It's close, but there's no way I'm gonna follow that. Oh, hey, I don't know if 5 pieces is gonna be enough. I really don't know. All right. This is how we started it. As long as you don't go too drastic with your bends, they're pretty easy to reverse. Right around in here. Getting pretty close. We can do our initial cut like I did the other side and make it better. This one to there, we'll do that. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Oh. I like it. It's getting there. I have to get that conduit bender to get that bottom part. Conduit. I feel like we need to do all the trimming now before we can fit this. So we're down. We gotta do something like this. All right. Well, let's commence the time lapse. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do this trim. I'm gonna cut the pieces down here. Essentially, we're gonna build one big square that sits where I want, and then we'll kind of figure out what we're doing from there. All right, let's get going. Well, we have the outside. There's a little tweak I got to do over there, but that shouldn't affect this. So right now we have basically the frame, but I want to run at least one tube down the middle. That's all I got probably is enough to do one down the middle. I'd like to do two more, and then we'll do a bunch of cross braces. This thing's actually going to be like almost too light, I'm feeling, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, we've got a rough alignment here. We are 51, so 25, what? 21, 25 and a half. Should be there. Do the same in the front. I just want to get the overall look, is what I'm shooting for. All right. Got half and half. It's not going to be very strong. As you can see, we got here. Like when we get to here, actually here's not bad. I just wanted to bow up a little bit. So yeah, I'm thinking two more. This one has to almost be the highest spot, I think. But I don't know how I want to bend this up. That's actually not too bad. I don't mind that. Just keep going with the bendy trend. I think once there's padding and stuff, it'll be pretty nice. Just want to give myself lots of room. Once I make an inner structure for that top, I just want everything to have a nice home here. All right, I'll do a loose cut right around here once I find my grinder. I definitely didn't calculate the amount of conduit I needed here. It's got a little bit of a weird twist to it. Now that it's all bent, it's kind of hard to fix this. Well, I don't know if it's that important. Nope, this one went that way. All in this area needs more curvature. It's like a stretcher shrinker. Gotta just man, we're getting crooked. Overall, it's not bad. Just got some weird curves in there, but I guess it doesn't really matter in the end. Don't know that I want or it has to be that tall. Let's just see what happens if I guess we have to stay taller because we're going to need that over here. When the time comes. I'm just a little OCD. It's got to be, it's not very straight going that way. I guess I can just cut off of there. Let me zap it. I don't know. I guess it's all right. I don't know until we get some padding and do whatever. We won't really know how good or crap this is until it's covered. Okay, let me give this a quick cut. Tack it in. Let me get a little bit of a visual. That one sits there, this one sits here. Little zappy zap. Try to do a rough eyeball of everything. Tack, tack, hold your breath. You don't want to be inhaling any of this stuff. I can see why I don't want to paint anything right now. So I'm just destroying what paint I have. All right. That is not terrible. Unfortunately, I don't think anything is long enough to do anything for me beyond here. Just to keep some strength to everything, I might just loosely tack these in the wrong spot, but it just makes things not so floppy. Well, I think everything is going to loosely stay in place now. That was our goal. Now maybe my explanation didn't work, and some of you visual folks, but here you go. So here's the idea. I'm going to reach, boom, pop. I'll be able to lift my top like this to do something. And then there's going to be rods holding up there. So as I do that, it's going to do a little bit of this. It's going to do a little bit of this, but I'll be able to lift. Hopefully it stays. I can kind of throw some stuff in here, in or out. Or, you know, like I lift to, if you compare to my drawing. Oh, here's where I already see a problem. So there's my top. So whatever I do, I'm going to have to make it at like this point. Around there. We don't have a track, so we'll have to leave this be, but I'm gonna have to make it that this thing is locked. I can open this, but it'll start pulling. But I think, once we get some better stuff here, I start pulling, but right around here is where this thing's gonna have to start to wanna go chink. And somehow I have to make it so it's like, I don't know, does that. That would be ideal. I don't want it to hit the ground, but I want it to open like that. And try to do it in a way that I don't wreck everything I just painted and primed. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about this. You have to ignore this. This thing is like so light so far. I'd actually, if I had built this top with that, I'd be like actually pretty uncomfortable with that, because I don't think it would have any strength to, like, I don't know, it wouldn't be right. Or I don't feel it'd be right. Anyways, what do we do here? So we have this set up. You kind of see, like I say, from where you saw, that works. So right now I'm not worried about the wheel part, but I don't know. You know, we're trying to mirror what I did with my hood. So I don't know how far back this, I think that has the open pull. We're gonna need, at the back side is where we're gonna need the hinging mechanism to go. I don't know how to do the strut thing yet, but I think we just, there, let me pop my hood just to get a rough idea. I don't have any plans for this. I just kind of winged it on my own. So if you base it, my latch is there, that's way up in the front. So I guess, like, do we pick right here? If I go here to there, that'll go, but there's no stop. So somehow I'm gonna use a strut, I think, as a stop, maybe. Like, that's gotta go there. It can't touch my top. So I guess if we do use some of my stuff here, we can kind of just use some washers and just scab some stuff in place for now. Because this is gonna need to sit in this area. I'm thinking right here is a good one because we can lift. It's gonna pull this thing back. And then when I give it the old heave ho, this thing's gonna go wonk and sit out of my way. Now I wish I hadn't welded that because I could have maybe double dutied that. I'm kind of thinking those box bolts are, at least that vicinity is where I'm gonna go with it. Maybe we'll keep it a little higher. I got a loose plan. Now we just got to drill holes into my bedside. Well, actually, now that I think about that, I don't want any of my holes to be higher than that. If I do that, I can hide anything I do in the bed. So, yeah. Well, we're going to have to center up my top. Well, I guess that makes, we're going to center this up. Somehow I'm going to build just a simple little off the side that we're gonna have to like brace immensely after. But I think all we're gonna do for now is just drill holes in this, and we're gonna use this for a really loose test. Maybe even down here, I'll just weld a nut for now instead of drilling holes and stuff, because then I can just grind it off. It'll burn up the paint, but that's only inside the fender, and I'm okay with that. Or screws, I don't know. We'll figure something out. We're gonna test this and see if I can actually make it go up and pull back. I think for the front, instead of building any kind of mech for right now, I'm just gonna take a little chunk of conduit. We'll just zap it up here so it forces it to slide and follow the bedside for now. And then we'll figure out a latching mech. Unless I just made this easier for myself now. I'm just wondering, what if a guy did a rubber wheel up here that could just roll on the bedside? Hopefully when this thing's padded, it's gonna be like yay far, like kind of poofy out. So you won't see it, even though you'll have like wheel marks running down there. I could do the old stainless thing like somebody else would recommended for the tops there before. That's a pretty good idea. But maybe I do a wheel with just a guide inside, and then this thing just rolls. And then when it comes over here, I literally just have a hook to a pin, and it just kind of sticks itself in there and it's done. There's a possibility I just made this easier in my head anyways. Okay, well, let's test my theory. We're gonna have to just start building some stuff here, and we'll see if we can, well, make it tilt. I don't know, should work. All right, folks, your guess is as good as mine how this is gonna work. So basically, we've just welded washers to stuff and everything's just test phase. So anyways, boom, pop it. This goes up. I can open this like a regular dealio. And now I want this to go. We're gonna have to find some way to make this not do this. Anyways, we want this to go around, and technically that's like good. Even if I just had it come down and just touch the ground. That's awesome. You can get in. I mean, this is there, but I can get in and do whatever. That's pretty simple. Look at that. Again, we gotta, this just wants to fidget around, but. And then click and lock, and then those slap into somewhere. That's mint. Let's do it one more time from the side. Check it out. I can open. I can actually go quite a ways, so I could go about yay far. You can get in and out like stuff out of the trunk here. Well, you can keep going until you just don't want it to hit the top, right? But that's actually quite a bit. So if you kind of set it up that way, and then oomph. And again, we got to figure how to keep these from doing that. See, I bridged the middle on my front, but I don't know that I can't do that on this one. So we got to find a different way to keep everything rigid. I have to look in. I'm for sure there's probably always some kind of a rod going side to side, but I don't know. Now I want to figure it out with struts. I'd love to have struts on it. That would make it just that much better. I think the strut has to attach to these arms. Well, I think this will work. I was kind of doing some quick measuring here, and well, I'm short because when it was up, and these have like, I don't know how much of a stroke, but anyways, I know they're 10.5 down, and I think it's like 7 inches or something of stroke up. So when this is down, this button's here, so you can see how I'm off with my paint markings from the top to here. But anyways, I need to get some tabs for these so I can kind of just tack stuff and we can button pop these on and off. I think the kid still has a whole bunch of scrap cars here, so I'm gonna go grab my grinder and we'll make a trip to the yard and find us some what do you call it, mounts to hold those in. That's the little buttons that we use to pop them on and off. So they're always on the rear hatches of cars, so let's go grab some. Well, overall, this setup works, but I'm missing parts. I need to get more conduit, and I need to get different struts. This system, the whole idea works, but it's wobbly, which, whoops, now that the strut fell out, it's even more wobbly. But technically, when I go in there, this strut idea works well. Actually, I'll take this one out. So essentially, it would go up, it would stay in this position, which is good. And then you can see I can kind of get into the box, all good. But what happens is, when I'm up, I'm wobbly. I don't have any stabilization going on. So I'm looking at two different ways, and one, well, now that I think about it, I'm not sure if it would work. Well, I guess it would. Just talking to myself. When we do our support rods, we're gonna do like this center brace. I want to do at least 2 more, possibly 3, like 3 per side. I think 1 more is good enough. I'm just worried on this one if I do it. My thought is I'm gonna make like a letter Y off of this rod here. So this one goes here. When I have a second beam running across over here, I'll be able to make a Y off of here and then basically line these pins up. And that should, when it lifts, cause like a fork and stop the top from swaying. I'd like to do the same on both sides, but I don't know that I have the room between there and the top. So that's my only drawback. I could do a smaller one. I think the one side would be plenty. Like it should stop it from, well, maybe it needs both, because it might still want to twist a bit. The strut might hold it up at that point. There'd be a lot of stress on that one, but I think it'd be fine. I just ran out of parts. I don't have any more parts to keep working. I don't have any more conduit, and I need to get some rod ends and some stuff like that. I could make bushings. I'll see which way is the easiest to go, just for all the ends of the tube, so they all get supported good. But overall, I think the principle of it's going to work fine. And there was a lot less head scratching than I did with the hood. Well, mostly because we had that to reference. This one worked out pretty good. I'm pretty happy. I just need, like I said, I need to order parts. I can put this top up and I can hold it there, but well, I'll do that quick. So you see this goes up, it's good. For some reason, the one side always lifts, it looks like it lifts a little more. Anyways, the only thing I'm gonna have a drawback try to figure out is the front, because it just wants to flop. But you can see the struts actually already gave it a little more, like there's the side is gone. I don't have the side, like the, how do you want to say it? It doesn't play this way anymore. So I think the single fork on the one side is going to be more than enough, because we could almost connect it to the center brace. And then when it's up, I have here, so it's just playing in that bottom bushing. So if I'm holding it, I can actually wiggle it this much before it stops. So that's why I think a Y is going to fix that. Anyways, when this is up, you know, this is all going to go. Boom. We'll kind of just lay that down like that. Put that back in. I took the clips out because I couldn't, there's too much pressure and I'll just bend the whole thing trying to collapse those. Anyways, that we would sit down like that really quick. Boom, grab the top, throw it on, bada bing. Flip this thing back over and away you go. Basically, this is going to work. When I do that one little schwank there, this is going to work fine. Like I said, I'm going to have to do some rod ends or do something for these. All these, like I say, this thing gives it some strength. I think when the fork is there, it's good. You just got to come up with a pin system in the front, and it might be super easy where it's just literally a hole in the front of the bed that when I slide it forward, it just goes into said hole. And maybe we just have some small wheels or bearings or something that sit up on the top of the rail that just roll, or some poly or some puck or something just to slide on it. I have to figure out a system where this stays tight with the bed, because the bed rail does kind of come out a little bit, so it doesn't follow it as nice. But that might be okay once we get the other strut system, like the support in there. I mean, overall, this thing just works well. So on that note, oops, that's not gonna work well. I'm pretty sure, yep, that's gonna hit something. Yeah, see, you can see now I took the struts off. Now this thing's like, that was a huge balancing act. So those help by themselves. I gotta find a weaker one. Anyways, this will go down, like I say, up in the front, you see, like we'll do some kind of a very simple latch. Top's gonna slide, and then back in the back here, we're gonna have just like a car latch for a car. So I'll reach around or have electric, whatever it is. It's gonna go here, it's gonna pop. This thing will lift SID high or however high it is, and then it's gonna get here, and then whatever. We're gonna be good to go. I like it. Pretty simple. It should work. Still a lot of work, but we got the basic principle done. I gotta do some shopping, but well, we should be able to get her next round. I don't know about material or anything, but I think we'll have it fully functioning the way I think should. Anyways, I think on that note, I think that is where we are gonna leave this one. I wanna thank you all for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. Later.